Last week, the National Cannabis Industry Association held their conference in San Francisco. We were able to speak with the San Francisco Mayor, London Breed, and ask her some questions. Obviously, we've had issues with retail theft, and the cannabis industry feels like they've not gotten the attention that some of the big designers have gotten. What is San Francisco doing to help the cannabis industry with this rash of organized crime and retail theft?
Well, just to be clear, we treat cannabis retail the same way we treat all retail establishments in the city. We not only focused on the downtown area to ensure that people who shop and visit and work in San Francisco have a safe experience. We've done it in all of our various commercial corridors where many of these cannabis businesses have locations. We've been in contact with them because of the rash of thefts that targeted their stores, in addition to some of our other retail stores like the CVS's and Walgreens and those sorts of places. And so far, since a lot of the resources that we put out there, which consist of a significant increase in the number of police officers, we've not had the challenges since that sadly fateful day of November 19th, where we saw a large number of people break into a number of establishments where in some cases the police were there and stopped them, but in other cases they were able to get away with it. So I think our deployment plans with our police officers in various commercial corridors in San Francisco are having a positive effect because we haven't had any major break-ins since that particular incident.
The legitimate cannabis market is concerned about the illicit cannabis market. Is there anything that you're able to do at a municipal level to help foster more sales with the legitimate cannabis operators versus the illegitimate ones?
You know, what's challenging, and we need to just kind of sadly have the honest conversation, many of the people who are not necessarily a part of the quote-unquote legitimate cannabis sales happen to be mostly white. And many of the people who are out there selling on the street, sadly, happen to be black. And so part of pushing for equity is making sure that we make it easier for many of those people to go into business, because I know many of those people personally, and I've had numerous conversations and have tried to work with them and connect them to resources because they do want to open legitimate businesses. And sadly, in some cases, our city have not always made it easier. And so we have to make sure that it is really convenient and easier for them to go into business and understand how to stay in the business, more so than what we're doing now, which is why we provide loans and grants and subsidies and other things, because when you think about it, going into the cannabis industry, it's expensive. You have to make sure you have a lawyer, you have to pay for a space that you're not even occupying or using, you have to find investors and people that are going to support and believe in you. You have to pay city taxes. I mean, just the layers of bureaucracy and expenses related to that, and you have someone who's going from unfortunately selling on the streets to all of a sudden expected to have a legitimate business, and all the layers that go with that, employment laws, taxes, fees, permits, all of those things. We as a city, and this is what the Office of Cannabis is focused on, we have to make sure that they have the ability to do so where it's not as problematic. And we did so with one of our particular businesses, where someone worked together with a member from the community who was impacted as an equity partner. And what happened during that process, it was lengthy, it was challenging, but they got through the process within a year's time and were able to open their store. And as a result, people from the neighborhood were hired. People were given a second chance. So I think that's really what we have to continue to work towards.